get your mind together.
Tonight on the Hank Stolz Experience, we're going to introduce you to a couple of extraordinary heroes, and they're going to be honored at the Red Cross Heroes Breakfast, which is coming up again. Nicole Valentine from the American Red Cross of Central Massachusetts here to tell us about that. Dr. Hirsch will be joining us in a moment. Lieutenant Don Courtney coming up in a few minutes as well. But first, since we do have you here, Nicole, I wanted to talk about, well, really what everybody is talking about, and that is what has happened in Japan and how we as Americans can help, and also bring us behind the scenes a little bit about the response of the American Red Cross when a disaster like this happens.
Certainly. Our hearts, of course, go out to the people of Japan in such a devastating time. As early as 6:30 on Friday morning, our telephones began to ring. We have loved ones that are missing in Japan. I can't get in touch with my mother or my daughter or my son. Can the Red Cross help? So there's many different stages of Red Cross relief during a disaster. When we're looking at an international disaster, of course the Red Cross waits to hear from our international partners to determine what exactly the Red Cross can do to assist. At this point, our partners in Japan have asked for financial assistance. Japan has an extraordinary response capability. However, with a disaster of this magnitude, they need their international partners at this time. So there are 470,000 people being sheltered at this point in Japan. Wow. 600 teams of Red Cross workers from Japan are on the scene, but it's just more than anybody can do on their own. The American Red Cross is raising funds, and we're asking the people of our country to help with financial contributions. For a $10 gift, people can text Red Cross to 90999, and those funds will go directly to Japan Aid.
Right, and that's really the best thing that we can do right now, is use our dollars to help. They have the manpower, they know what they're doing. Japan, I am told, is the most prepared country in the world when it comes to earthquakes.
They are. As far as disaster relief, they have come to the aid of Haiti. They had come to the aid of New Zealand, and now it's their turn for help. And when asked what we can do to help, they do need the funds to help rebuild the infrastructure and to buy exactly what they need for this response, whether it's food or water. And people are asking, why is the response slow? Because they're in the very early stages of a disaster relief operation. This is a disaster of an enormous magnitude.
Yeah, it's interesting that the response is not throw as many people as you can on a plane and send them over there, that would actually be counterproductive at this time.
It certainly would be counterproductive. We need to meet the immediate need, and the immediate need right now is survival and saving lives. All
right, well, that is what we will do then. We'll make those donations. We'll make them. We can do it online as well at redcross.org, AmericanRedCross.org.
Absolutely, yeah. Or our local chapter, www.redcrosscwm.org.
Terrific. Nicole, the reason that we had invited you on first, before, of course, any of this happened in Japan when we were setting this up last week, was because the Heroes Breakfast is coming around once again. And this is a wonderful thing here in our community that recognizes a lot of people who will, I'm sure, tell us, and Dr. Hirsch, I know that you will, that you're not really heroes, but that you do extraordinary things, and we love to be able to recognize the people in our community who do that. Nicole, tell us a little bit about this year's Heroes Breakfast, and then introduce Dr. Hirsch, if you will.
I certainly will. March is my favorite time of the year at the Red Cross. We see so much heartache and so much disaster at the American Red Cross, and during the month of March each year we pause to honor ordinary people that are doing extraordinary things. It's a simple theme of people helping people. We go out to our community, we ask our community for help in nominations, and we have received some incredible nominations and some incredible recipients. We're so happy to have Dr. Hirsch and his injury prevention team, the Worcester Firefighters Local 1009 Ramp Gang, incredible people who give of themselves above and beyond what they do as their ordinary job to make a difference or change a life.
Dr. Hirsch, tell me about this, this group that you have put together.
Well, I'm very, very honored to have been considered in the group that's already won this award, and you know, it is a little bit embarrassing to talk about yourself in the terms of being a hero. What we have done at the Children's Medical Center at UMass is to kind of look at our jobs from 1,000 feet up, and we're not very satisfied with the notion that we do quality trauma care and that's all we can offer the community. We really feel that since about 95% of the trauma that we see come into the trauma center there is preventable, that our larger mission now is to see if we can put ourselves out of business. As you know, Hank, from other discussions we've had, the medical resources are so tenuous, and disasters will come up like that obviously no one can predict. But when we can predict that kids and guns don't mix, that seat belts on kids will save lives, that helmets on kids when they're biking or skiing will save lives. Those are resources very, very inexpensive that we can apply that can save thousands and thousands of dollars in medical costs that we can direct at these other things when they come up. So Dr. Marianne Mano and I put together this program in 2001, and it's continued to grow. We have a wonderful staff and an ever-growing number of volunteers that put their shoulders to the wheel with us and try to nip trauma in the bud, if you would.
10 years. Doctor, do you think, as you look back now, I mean, has it really made a difference? Those first few years must have just been difficult just getting the word out.
It was difficult. It was difficult to find funders that would support us. We always had very wonderful partners in the Red Cross and the Department of Public Health here in Worcester. But gradually the word got out. We got some very strong corporate support from places like Walmart and Allstate, and we now have 2 vehicles that are driving all over the Worcester County area teaching kids in their school environment about safety on the street and in the home and also behind the wheel. So I think we're really covering a lot of the bases. We constantly come up with more ideas. The staff that I have is just amazing in coming up with new approaches, and I'm very happy also that with Nicole's help, we've also been kind of trying to integrate some disaster preparedness into this now because of some of the things like the ice storm in 2009, and we really want to include that. If we have a window into somebody's home and they're inviting us in to see how we can make the home better, to make them a little bit more prepared in the awesome event that something would come up that would deprive them of water, food, electricity for a period of time.
So Nicole, this is also about partnerships then, partnerships between the Red Cross and many of the good organizations here in the city.
It absolutely is. The Red Cross could not stand alone. We don't stand alone, and we couldn't do the work that we do without our community partners, whether it's working with emergency managers or the fire department or groups like injury prevention. It's time to celebrate the good work that everybody in our community does.
Yeah, when we talk about injury prevention, and you talk about some of this disaster preparedness as well, is this, has the work that you have done, has that been spreading to other areas as well? Do you get calls from other people from around the United States that talk to you about your work? We
really do. I'm actually traveling to D.C. tomorrow to talk a little bit about some of the injury prevention things that we've done here in central Massachusetts area. We're part of a 43 trauma center consortium called the Injury Free Coalition that is nationwide, really dedicated to trying to eradicate childhood injury. And we use the best practices that lots of the different centers have come up with. And we've been lucky in Worcester that probably 3 or 4 of the ones that have developed over the last 10 years are being replicated in those other centers. So I think we've made a dent. It's a big problem, but I think that you know, we look at it as we finally feel that with the right form of education, we have a vaccination against this type of disease. And just like any vaccination, it takes a while to roll it out, but I think once we get it out to the public, it'll be well received and successful. What do you need in the coming years to be successful? I mean, is it a matter of funds? Is it a matter of working with people like the Red Cross? I think a lot of it ends up being funding. I mean, certainly we get a lot of in-kind services from people that volunteer. We have, you know, in the 9 colleges in Worcester, we're involved with Becker College, WPI, and Holy Cross with a lot of our volunteers that we obtain, and our own medical school students are just a wonderful group of volunteers. But I think, you know, for every dollar that we spend on prevention, we save about 20 on the medical costs. So that equation alone, I think, means that for a small investment, people in the community, corporations in the community can make a big impact. We have just about 30 seconds left. Are you still looking for people to kind of come and join the effort as well? I mean, are you still looking for volunteers? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We have many events all around the county that really do need staffing, and we go into school systems, we go to county fairs, we go to malls, we go to safety days, and all of those things can only benefit from interested people that want to be involved. So we'd love to see people come out.
Fantastic. Dr. Hirsch, thank you so much for stopping by and telling us about it.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much for having me. Thanks,
as
Nicole.
well for the award. Nicole, we're going to have you stay here.
Sure.
We're going to bring in another of our community heroes, and we'll have Lieutenant Don Courtney join us in just a moment here on the Hank Stolz Experience.
By the lights, wrapped up like a deuce under the runner in the night.